Hello, humans. Welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. There's a lawsuit out there. You could get up to 50% back from Steam. But is it right for us? Should we pull the trigger? Well, that's a big question. Let's talk. Hello, humans, and welcome back to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Well, this has been going on for a while, guys, back and forth, but there's still a lot of ads out there. You know, whenever you're dealing with these things on the internet, you really have to be careful because a lot of them are going to ask you to fill things out, sign contracts, things like that, and you really have to be wary, right? This is not legal or financial advice, but just a warning for you guys to just, be vigilant, right? And make sure that you read everything that you're going to put your name to because you don't know who's out there making these claims. It's easy to make a form, a web page on the internet and have people, agree to something, and then you don't know what you're agreeing to. Now, let me show you a couple of things that are out there. Here's a web page that I'm going to show you, and it really doesn't say really who it's from. It's an LLC page, and that always, Zager LLC. We know about limited liability companies, right? We're familiar with that from the Intellivision Amico. And here's one that's pretty generic. These look like just stock pictures, and they're letting you know what they're, going to bill you for, what they're trying to do, and what maybe the lawsuit is all about. Here's another one. This one is from a law firm, Mason LLP, attorneys at law. All right, now this looks more like a class action here, but let me say this, guys. Usually for these, the fees are pretty high. I think this one, oh, here it is, look. 40% of the recovery, that's their fee. And they do that because they're putting all the resources up front. If they're able to get money for you, they'll take 40% of it. But how much money are we talking about here? It looks like this thing is like 3-4 years, right? Where people could have paid, a lot more for retail price video games. But how much money could that be, right? If you make $300, right, they're going to take 40% of that. If you make $100, they're going to take $40. Is that really worth the headache and the trouble? It's just not signing this. Usually there's an agreement for fees there, something that you have to sign where they say, if we recover anything for you, we're going to take this much out of it, right? A lot of people think that's for them to bill you directly. And I'm just generalizing here. Again, this is not legal advice. You have to read every contract you sign and do your own research and get legal advice if you're doing this stuff. And that's just the thing, right? If you're looking to get what, $500, are you going to go pay an attorney to read a contract for $300? What's the best you can do? I don't know. Again, you need professional advice, not look to web pages on YouTube, to listen to guys talking on YouTube. In doing this, I found a pretty funny conversation here. And this says, this is on Reddit, by the way, and I'll put a link to it down below. Has anybody submitted a claim through them? They're talking about this law firm that I just showed you. I saw an ad for this on Facebook, and I heard some news about Steam facing legal scrutiny, right? And then stupidest guy nominee comes in and says, I saw an ad for this on Facebook. There's your first problem. Now this one here, this response from Silenoid reminds me of those posts that the Amico investors used to make on other investment websites, that were defending the company. Check this out. Makes public comment without doing 1 second of research. Mason LLP has been in business for over 30 years. Their clients have received over $1 billion. They operate out of DC, a very expensive place. It's kind of odd. And have taken on huge adversaries like the U.S. Navy Camp Lejeune Marine Corps Base Shitty Water. I mean, those are kind of, this sounds like a shill right here, doesn't it? and whenever you see a company, an individual defending an LLC or defending, in this case, a law firm, that always is a red flag to me. There's something else going on there. And, this guy, sniffs it out. He says, stupidest guy nominee says, how'd you even stumble upon a month-old Reddit post? Doing research before I signed a contract with the law firm. So now we know there's a contract. Good to know your research includes fervently defending said law firm in a completely non-suspicious way. So good for him. He sniffed it out. But there's other things that you have to hear, that you have to consider, guys. Let me tell you this. How big is your backlog? How many games do you have in your library? Right? I have quite a few. I have a lot, right? I feel like one of those memes, when they put the memes, you're playing a new game and your backlog is just staring at you from a distance. I'm packing my stuff and I'm looking at all these games that I have that I haven't played yet. And that's how I feel sometimes. Most of my purchases nowadays are for games that I really, really want that are on sale. I buy games in bulk now for the channel, for the giveaways that I do. But that's about it. I don't pay full price for anything. I wait for sales and then I purchase the games then. And, I have a ton of games. I really do. But remember, when you fill these out, when you are thinking of taking legal action against these companies, you're going to have to provide your account number. You're going to have to provide your username. What does that mean? Well, these companies have the right to serve whoever they want and not to serve whoever they want, right? So what if they cancel your account? What if you have, like 1,000 games in there and all of a sudden they said, you know what? We appreciate your business, but we don't think we want to do business with you anymore. Then you have that to weigh in, right? Are you willing to risk your account for $50, for $100, $200? I mean, it's not worth it to me with the amount of games that I have, right? Because that could be a possibility. Because these terms of service, they're nuts. They could change any day. They could terminate your account because they don't like your hair color, or because they don't like the way you reviewed their products. It could be anything, right? So they have the right to terminate your account. And it's probably more likely if you're suing them. I mean, would be in any business, If you have a business and one of your customers is suing you, are you going to welcome him with open arms every time he walks in the store? Probably not, right? So you're going to have to do your own research. You're going to have to get legal advice from a professional, not from web pages on YouTube, not from guys talking like me on YouTube. You really have to be vigilant because there's a lot you can lose. In this case, more than you can win, as far as I can see in the numbers, right? But if you are a person who bought thousands and thousands of dollars, worth of retail games during this time period, maybe it is for you. And that's something that you're going to have to determine with your attorney. But in the meantime, it makes for a lot of interesting reading out there in the interwebs. Guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for the likes or the subscriptions. I do appreciate you watching the channel, and I hope that I earned your subscription today. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out, and I want to thank you. Guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
New videos every week. Make sure you don't miss out and subscribe.